Wooden roller coasters have always been evolving. They have stand the test of time for over 150 years, and even when steel coasters, they became kind of the new norm when building roller coasters. There's just something about wooden roller coasters that you can't help but love. And in the last 20 years, we have seen some of the best roller coasters in the world, and quite a few of them are wood. Companies like Gravity Group, but especially Rocky Mountain Construction, they have built a whole other category of innovation with their new generation wooden roller coasters, taking the industry upside down with Outlaw Run. And of course, how can we forget their RMC hybrid coasters? I know they're not classified as wooden coasters, in fact they're classified as steel, but who cares? These rides are awesome. There has been a market boom for these coasters, and we've seen them pop up all across North America, Asia, Europe, but just focusing on America, the country that has the most RMC hybrids, we have seen these coasters being built everywhere. They have popped up all over the country, and almost every wooden coaster that needed to be RMC'd got the help they deserve. But there's one over in Chicago at Six Flags Great America, and I'm of course talking about American Eagle. This ride has been anticipated to become an RMC for so many years, and we almost got our wish back in 2013. Because during that time, Six Flags, it was confirmed they were going to RMC American Eagle, but that never happened. They went down a different route, of course, and we got a different RMC at the park. So why didn't this twisted colossus of the Midwest happen? Now, what I'm about to say is just theory. I think it's because of Son of Beast. Most of you right now, you're probably tapping your heads thinking, what is this guy talking about? How could Son of Beast, a coaster that was built 20 years after American Eagle, at a park that is not owned by the same corporation, past and present, and is over 350 miles away from Great America, so there's no point of competition between Kings Island and Great America. So how can Son of Beast ruin RMC American Eagle? Stay tuned, because I have a pretty interesting idea how this defunct coaster can contribute to a renovation of a beloved classic. So to understand why, we first have to know how significant Son of Beast was. And I'm not talking about how this coaster was one of the biggest failures in roller coaster history, how the ride only lasted 9 years, it was a massive headache and pain for Kings Island to deal with. There were tons of complications with the ride, involving the park, the manufacturer, 2 incidents that happened in 2006 and 2009. The main significance I'm looking at for Son of Beast is how this coaster had so many amazing groundbreaking records. You have to remember, this was the tallest wooden roller coaster in the entire world. It had a height of 218 feet, a drop of 214 feet, and a speed of 78 miles per hour. The stats for this ride is really what makes it shine. The layout, of course, it wasn't that interesting. It was a bunch of massive helixes and turnarounds. The only thing unique about the ride was the fact that it had the first ever modern day loop on a wooden roller coaster. Unfortunately, that was taken out in 2006 after an incident where the train stalled on the track because a beam supposedly cracked in half. So the park, they replaced the Premier ride trains with Gerstlauer trains, because the Gerstlauer trains, they were more lighter than Premiers, so it wouldn't take too much of a toll on the structure of Son of Beast. But since the new lighter trains couldn't make it through the loop, they had to take the loop away so the coaster car can actually make it through the layout. And once the loop was taken out, the only thing Son of Beast had going for it was the record it still had when it opened in 2000. The reason I'm mentioning all these records and the loop that Son of Beast had is because in 2012, when Son of Beast was finally demolished after 3 years of standing but not operating, it made every record that Son of Beast had disappear like it was nothing, and left them available. That's when Six Flags Great America entered, because during that time when Son of Beast was just torn down, in 2012/2013, they were deciding what coaster to add for the 2014 season. And during that time, they had people from RMC to look at American Eagle, because that was the original project for Great America. But then the planners, they noticed the lane where Iron Wolf used to be. They asked Great America if they would consider something like a ground up wooden coaster. And of course, Six Flags Great America, they said yes. And that took up the opportunity cost for RMC American Eagle. Now, when I heard this story, I thought it was pretty vague. Why would they decide to go with Goliath over American Eagle? Well, I can explain that in one simple word: marketing. Because Son of Beast was gone, Six Flags was able to market Goliath as the tallest, fastest, and steepest wooden coaster in the entire world. That helped make this ground-up wooden coaster a more appealing product for Six Flags to buy over redoing American Eagle. But I imagine there was another factor that contributed to this, is how during the 2010s there was kind of a wooden coaster renaissance. Like starting in 2013, Hades became Hades 3 360. Then Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, the first ever wooden coaster to go upside down 3 times. There could have been a possibility Great America was pressured into building Goliath, since wooden coasters were in and were trending a lot. So capitalizing off it and building the tallest, fastest, and steepest wooden coaster in the world would have been the best way to bring in crowds. But now, since Goliath is built, will we ever see RMC American Eagle happen? And if you want my honest opinion, no. I don't think we're ever going to see RMC American Eagle. And there's another reason for that. Not just Son of Beast being torn down so Goliath can take some of its records. It's also because RMC American Eagle would be really expensive. Just look how massive American Eagle is. When it finally opened in 1981, it took over 2 years to construct. And when it was done, it was meant to be the tallest coaster in the world and the largest racing coaster in the world. And still today, it holds the record of being one of the largest racing wooden coaster ever. And you can definitely see how it is. It's over 4,650 feet per side, and it takes the entire width of Great America. So if they RMC'd American Eagle, the track length would be near 9,500 feet. And if you compare that to the longest RMC hybrid in existence, Steel Vengeance, which is over 5,700 feet long, the track length will be an additional 3,000 to 4,000 feet longer, which will mean the amount of track they have to install on American Eagle will be close to 2 miles. Compare that to the only dueling RMC hybrid coaster, Twisted Colossus. That ride is only 4,900 feet long. Plus, when they did RMC that coaster, they took out the entire second lap. They did that so they didn't have to RMC the entire thing, but they made up for that by making it a Mobius coaster, so it's still over 4,000 feet long, and can keep the dueling aspect without going over budget. American Eagle, you can't cut out the second lap because there isn't a second lap. It's just one long down and back. So making room for budget cuts is a little more difficult for this ride. I assume Great America have known about this since now 2012 and 2013. During those 2 years, there were some rumors going around that they were going to make half the ride a wooden coaster, then half of it a hybrid. That just screams budget cuts to me. Six Flags knew how much this was going to cost, so they were trying to narrow down the price as low as possible. And the logistics of a half hybrid, half wooden coaster would have been so difficult to manage, so it would be a lot easier to scrap the project entirely. But if the park really wanted to make American Eagle an RMC hybrid, they could just make the whole thing one track, no dueling, one side, that's it. This would be a buzzkill for American Eagle. The ride is known for dueling. I mean, the coaster can't duel anymore, but still. Even if they did that, it would still be over 4,000 feet long, and accounting for inflation and how RMC they become a deluxe company, not to mention how American Eagle's structure is so dilapidated and deteriorating, they would have to repair the entire thing in order to support a hybrid coaster. This price tag will be astronomical, and we all know Six Flags will never put that much money into one roller coaster. That is why the potential of RMC American Eagle will never happen. If we wanted to see this, 2014 would have been way more realistic. Back then, RMC wasn't as expensive, the structure for American Eagle wasn't as bad, and a 4,000 foot long RMC coaster wouldn't break the bank for Six Flags. But now that time has passed, Six Flags' opportunity for this coaster has closed. The only question that comes to mind for me is maybe what if Son of Beast would have lasted a little longer? If that ride would have lasted a little longer, maybe Goliath would have never been built, which would free up the opportunity for a different RMC to take its place. But that's just one possibility of why RMC American Eagle never happened. Leave in the comments below if you agree with me, or if you disagree with me, that's totally okay. Just tell me why down below. If you like the channel and enjoy the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.